advice and practical usage of fonts in Elementor. Now there are three different options for font settings on your website. The first one's going to be choosing to use theme fonts, and that is to disable fonts in Elementor so that you can globally control them and easily change them via your WordPress website's theme. And the second one is using the global fonts option from within Elementor, and I'm going to show you that. And then on a element by element basis, you can control the fonts there, but you lose that global ability to change those fonts. So let's try to take a look at this and see how they all work. So here I am back in on the back end of this WordPress site. I'm going to go ahead and click on Pages. I'm going to get back into that Elementor page really quick. So I'm going to go to Home and edit this again with Elementor. It's that same page with the Canvas template. I'm going to go ahead and put the testimonial element in there. So let me just scroll down here and find it. I should always, just to save time, go ahead right here and start typing. I love that Elementor has this search option. So here's the testimonial. Now the reason I'm choosing testimonials is because there's all sorts of fonts being used on it, and we've got the testimonial itself, and then we have the name, and we have the title of the individual that left his testimonial. So I'm going to go ahead, click on Save, and then I'm going to get out of this page really quickly. I'm going to go to the dashboard. Now, if you want to use the fonts from your theme, you have to disable them in Elementor. Now, this is actually a good idea if you have a theme that has lots of different font options, so you can really control everything via a customizer setting. So let me try to demonstrate this in this lesson right now. So I'm going to click on Elementor right here, and it's going to be right here, disable global fonts, and here's the global color one for the prior lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and check on this, and then I'm going to click on Save Changes. Now if I was to go into the Elementor editor and try to set some global fonts, the option is going to be grayed out. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the customizer. So I'm going to go Appearance and then Customize, and here I am in the customizer, and we see that, well, you can see right now the testimonial totally looks different, and that's because it's inheriting the style in the theme. So my theme has this option here, typography, and let's take a look at the body font, and here it is, and let's see if changing this has an effect on the testimonial widget. So right now it's showing 15 pixels of font size, so let's see what happens when I increase this, if it gets larger. And it looks like it is getting larger to me, so it might be kind of subtle to see, but here, let me make a large number. Oh, there you go, you saw it pop right there. So you can see how this is one way of globally controlling the fonts that are automatically used when you're building out your pages in Elementor. And this is a really good option if your theme has lots of different font options. So I'm actually, you know what, I'll leave that font size. Let me do a save, and I'm going to get out of here. And let me go ahead and open that up in a new tab so that you can see. So there it is. So now what I want to do is I'm going to go click on Edit with Elementor, and I just want to show you how the option for the global fonts has been grayed out. So I'm going to go into the Options panel here, and then here it is, global fonts. You can see it's a little grayed out, and when you click on it, it says right here, default fonts are disabled. So that means it's just letting me know that I've got to change this setting back in order to have the option within Elementor to set those fonts. And so if your theme doesn't have great font options, that's why this is a great option that Elementor built this into Elementor, is so that you can control it from within there. So I'm going to click on this to get into my Elementor settings panel, and I'm going to uncheck it. I'm going to click on Save. Now this is going to reset it to the Elementor selected fonts. So let me go back in here. Now what you're going to have to do is refresh the page. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And it's just going to reload everything, and I'm going to go back into my global fonts and see now I have those global font options here again. So we have these three options. We have our primary headline, and you could choose the font family and the weight, that's the thickness of the font. We have secondary headline, body text, and accent text. So this right here is our body text right there. So I would probably go with let's just change it to Lato. And you can see as soon as I clicked on enter, the font changed, and then I can increase the thickness if I wanted, the weight, just like that. And you can see how easy that was to do. So let me go ahead and click on apply. And so that is the other option to have some global control over your fonts, is to go in here and choose the font you wanted and the thickness that you wanted for your fonts. Now let me show you the way of changing it on an element by element basis. Any element in Elementor that has text is going to have options to change it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the element, and here we are seeing the different settings for it. Now you're typically going to see it in style, but there is one or two elements that I have seen it in content. So you could just see here, it'll usually say typography, and we don't see that. We do have an alignment here. So anyways, I'm going to click on style, and right here is content, and you see it's right there. It says typography, and we can just turn this on, and now you're going to get control over the typography, but it's just for this element here that I'm working with. It's not global, so if you wanted to change it later, you're going to have to change it on each and every element where you put in a custom font. So we have control over our size here. We can make the size whatever we want. We can choose whatever font we want right here. We have weight options. We even have a transform option right here, so you can make it all uppercase if you wanted, or normalize, whatever you wanted to do. And then we also have the option to make it italic. We also have line height options here, so if you wanted to tighten that up. And we have spacing, so you can space it out however you want based upon what you want. And this is pretty much how you can have total control over the fonts using Elementor on every element. So anyways, I was just doing the content area right there, but then here's where I would put the name, font, and the job. So if I wanted to change the name, right now it's using the primary color, and it is using that smaller font. So I can go right here, I can turn this on, and I can essentially do the same thing if I wanted to make it larger or whatnot. So that is controlling the fonts. And another really nice thing, and I'll have a specific lesson on mobile, making your designs, your pages mobile friendly. What's really nice about Elementor, you notice these just off to the size of every element that you enabled the custom typography for, you have this little icon here, and when you click on it, it reveals this is the desktop, this is the tablet, and this is the mobile. So let me show you a good example of this, and I'm going to go in more detail in this specific lesson about making your site more mobile friendly, but we have the option here, and this is really big. So if I saw what that looked like on a mobile device, it's just gigantic. It does not look good. Well, what's beautiful about Elementor is I can click on that and I can have a specific size just for mobile devices, and I can toggle between them. So if someone's on a desktop, it's going to show right here I have a size of 35. When someone clicks here, it's going to shrink to a size of 25 to make it more readable on a mobile device. And you can have a separate setting altogether as well for the tablet view. And this is one of the most beautiful features of Elementor, and why you can really easily take any design that you're going to come up with and make everything fit perfectly on a mobile device. But I'll have a specific lesson on tweaking different elements such as fonts for mobile devices, just to make sure your website looks beautiful on all devices, which is definitely the goal here. So this lesson was all about fonts. We talked about theme fonts. We talked about the global fonts that you can set within Elementor, and we also talked about custom fonts in an element by element basis.